Thank you.
Leonard, I wanted to say, you were nice and extra loud today. I thought it was perfect, the volume on the microphone. Didn't you think you could hear him much more clearly?
Yeah, that was
louder?
good because you had
Whatever-
work on the
whatever
audio.
level that is, that's
Well, it's
good.
because of his speaker.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
tried to suppress it.
The live lights are only going to the online audience.
Yeah.
Those other lights.
This is a little bit.
Okay, one quick announcement before we're getting going. And you'll notice that we have this microphone here up front. And the reason for this is not because it helps with the audio. The reason for this is so people who are online can hear. So please, if you have something to say, if you can, please come to the mic, because otherwise whatever it is won't go through to the people who are...
Not only that, it is a Sennheiser mic, so you have to have the mic at your lips.
On the
Okay.
lips, near the, yeah.
Okay. So, Leonard, do you want to start us
Is there a
out?
prayer? Let us bow down in prayer. In the symphony of existence, we yearn for the harmony that transcends discord. May we embrace diversity as a symphony of perspectives, each note contributing to the richness of the whole. Let understanding be the conductor of our interactions, guiding us to learn from those whose viewpoints differ from our own. May we keep our passions within due bound, keeping in mind that we are in this together to bringing hope and service to humanity, not for our own merit, but for the love of making a difference in this fragile earth, our island home, and all those that dwell therein. For in doing so, the blessing is bestowed upon us, even life forevermore. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Leonard. And if you'd like to start out right now with your report, because I got you on. Do you have an agenda?
No,
Here,
but
let
I
me.
think I saw it.
Here, let me give you that.
Hello, church. Forgive me if I have to deliver another sermon to you. Give me just 5 minutes. In order for the church to thrive, in order to do the work of mission we are to called to by God to do in this world, we need to take bigger risks, be willing to experiment and, yes, fail, and listen carefully to our own stories as well as the stories of our neighbors as we seek to find ways of connecting with them and helping ourselves and our neighbors connect with God. That work has borne fruit in a number of ways. Each of you have brought new energy and new ideas on how to connect better with newcomers and visitors. I have noticed some of you are engaged to a conversation with our visitors and made them feel at home. You were there available to answer some questions they asked. Thank you. While we continue to do that act of kindness and hospitality, we still need to improve in our follow-up in calling them or sending them updates or cards to greet them and invite them to be part of our community outreach and enrich program. Last year and this year, Mary Larson has shared with us new ideas in community outreach, such as the Feeding the Hungry and partnering with Pacifica Resource Center. With the help of Betsy Giovannoni, Linda and David Peebles, Ruby and Douglas Plusher, Heidi Oaks, and others, we have established our partnership with Charities of Hope Shelter House and the Pacifica Resource Center. We have had members in the community who joined us deliver services to these communities. We have many of you who have volunteered your time and talents to do church works pro bono to sustain the life and work of St. Edmunds. Georgia, Rudy, Douglas, Ruby, Brian, David, Janet, Sandy, Tom, and others. Members of the Altar Guild, lay Eucharistic ministers, and acolytes. Those of you who volunteer to pick up and drop off members to and from church and other functions. Carol, Janet, Douglas, and others. Our abled and committed members of the Bishop Committee, our senior and junior wardens, past and present, who have contributed and continue to do miracles in our midst. And to all of you, seen and unseen, our donors and contributors to sustain the life and work of this church, the Koch Endowment Fund, our pledgers and givers, our partners renting our space, thank you. All of these are exciting developments and all are evidence of our response to God's call to us. We should be proud of the work we have done and are doing, and grateful for those among us who are taking leadership in all of these areas. Amen? Amen. And these are significant challenges in our future. And I would hope that our engagements in these conversations would be governed by two important and interrelated questions. Number one, how can we be best stewards of the property and location that past generations have bestowed, preserved, and enhanced? Number two, what is God calling us to be and to do as a people of God in this very location where we have gathered for more than 70 years? If Catherine could accept that you verify that year, 70 years, we may not make the right decisions, but if we ask these questions honestly and answer them to the best of our ability and with the best resources and wisdom we can muster, we will be faithful both to those who have come before us and those who might come after us, as well as to the God who has called us together and placed us here. And may God be praised and blessed. Amen. And now to report to you, at 2024, we have had 2 baptisms and 1 wedding and 4 new members, but unfortunately have to move to another state. But that is a report, and I think my 2 years with you is coming up in April next year. And again, as Brian Wismar has always reminded the Bishop Committee, we need more people. And we ask you to be partners with us in bringing more people to this church. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Leonard. I've been thinking a lot about snakes, and not about the 2-legged ones that sometimes we run into, but there's a specific snake that is related to the first political cartoon in this country. It was a drawing by Benjamin Franklin, and it shows a snake segmented into about 13 parts. And the phrase underneath that is join or die. And this comes up because, you know, we're in a time of divisiveness in our country. And one of the people who's written a lot about how to not be divisive is a guy by the name of Robert Putnam. He wrote a book called Bowling Alone, and some time ago. And when I heard about that title, I couldn't help but think of the Sea Bowl, and the fact that we don't have it anymore. But he goes on about how not just bowling alleys, but other civic institutions like places of worship and everything else, when people are not able to join in civic groups, they have more problems. So that's why I think places like St. Edmunds are so critical to the health and mental health of our country. And there's even been studies that show that you have a much greater chance of surviving like for a longer life or even surviving for the coming year if you are joined with civic groups. And this is a civic group. St. Edmunds is a civic group. We have specific beliefs, and we'll get into that a little more a little later, some of our beliefs and values and mission. Linda's going to talk about that, I think. But, and you'll see there's a handout that has some of the proposed things that we've been talking about in the BC. But all in all, it's just, this is a time, I think, when people are going to be looking for places like St. Edmunds to show leadership. And not just within the church, the community at large. They're seeing there's all these changes that are going on, and we're certainly not going to like all of them. No matter who we voted for, some of these changes are going to be problematic. So that's why I'm really urging people to listen to what's going on in the church here at St. Edmunds and find ways to take part, not just so St. Edmunds can thrive, but so that we all can thrive individually. It's really critical. I wanted to be sure to recognize already, Reverend Leonard talked a lot about the people and the different things that have been going on this year. I wanted to express some gratitude specifically to the Tai Chi group. Not only have they been really good about contributing money, but they've also contributed some time. We just got some more Tai Chi books for the library that got donated this week, which is good. It's good to have some additional things that to put in there. I also want to be sure to recognize my spouse Georgia and Rudy. Well, now of course he's always popped out when I want to recognize him. I'll mention him later, but the important thing is it's for me. I find it embarrassing that I have to be reminded to thank my own spouse for all the stuff that she's done at St. Edmunds, and people regularly express gratitude to Georgia, which I appreciate because, yeah. And there's Rudy, and Rudy as well. That all the work that Rudy's done in the last year and the last several years to make sure that we're connected with the online people. It's really, and maybe later I can get Rudy to come up and tell us a little bit about that. There's way too many people to thank everybody individually today, but there's a couple other organizations that I wanted to highlight. The Mothers Club, or I guess they go by the Families Club now, has continued to be a great supporter. And they were the ones who actually started working on that upper parking lot a couple of years ago. They paid us some money to get that done. And this year, definitely thanks to Josh for organizing the stuff to get that upper parking lot really in much better shape. That's really phenomenal. The other thing is look in that front bathroom, because there was some work done. And if you have ever been in that front bathroom over here and looked inside the cabinet, which I wouldn't have advised up until now, it was pretty bad. But I guess Mike?
Yeah, our younger son did fix it.
At 3:30 in the morning on Friday.
Right, yeah, 3:30 on Friday, 3:30 a.m. on Friday.
Sent us photos of the disgustingness of the whole thing. I said, maybe you should get somebody else.
But that's really quite something, because if you've ever dealt with like some of the things that you got to deal with in terms of replacing drywall, it's not easy to find somebody to do a good job on that. So thanks much to him. I'm trying to think if there's other groups. Mary Larson, we've still got her. She got us going on the T-shirts and sweatshirts, and we've got a couple more in the back there, and I can order more. And that was through the program that she started. Trying to think if there was any other groups. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Altar Guild, oh, for sure. Altar Guild has, who do we have on the Altar Guild now? It's Linda and Ruby and Janet and David and you. Okay, so that's one of the things actually that we want to get to too, is not, and it's part of what I wanted to talk about in terms of a call to service, because not everybody wants to be on the BC. If you do want to be part of the BC, then let us know, and we'll definitely find a way to include you, but you don't have to be a full member of the BC to take an active role. Some of the things that Brian has done has been very helpful in terms of our finances and straightening them out and organizing and planning. And he's not on the BC, but he's kind of an adjunct. So just kind of keep in mind, if you don't want to sign up for the whole thing, but you have an interest, let us know. We can always use the help. Am I forgetting on anybody else, Georgia? Okay. Kateri, yes, thank you. Kay, it's the Sweeney, yes. I'm always trying to get the Takakawitha.
Kateri, which is like what's the word I want? It's the name Catherine, but changed to be Kateri.
Okay.
She was the first Native American saint. So that's
And she's now been renting our one of the rooms over here, and Carol and I forget who else it was, Josh, and somebody cleaned that whole room out, which was quite a job, let me tell you. And Tom. There we go. So all that stuff that happened, and now she's actually using it for her organization, a nonprofit that helps women in Central America, right? Yeah, Guatemala. Okay, thank you. Very good. So we've got a real, not only do we have people in the church, but we've got more people besides that. You know, and when I was just recently at they had a Democratic breakfast with Anna Eshu speaking, who is retiring, and I thought about the various people from St. Edmunds who've been involved with that particular group. So we have more of an effect than just what's going on here. So that's the main thing I wanted to get across. But we still have more to do. And like Reverend Leonard said, we need to have more, and Brian, we need to have more people to kind of help do things. But in the meantime, if you find somebody or you yourself have an interest in doing something, just let us know, and we'll definitely be appreciative of that. All right. Josh, you want to come up next?
Oh, yeah. No, it's okay. I'll talk loud. Anyway, thank you, Father Leonard, Dan, for...
There we go.
Here, I got this bit. All right, thank you very much, Father Leonard, Dan, for everything you guys have done over the past year. It's been a blessing to me to have you guys around. All right. Well, honestly, I don't really have... is that better? I didn't really have any prepared remarks. Just thinking about the last year, we did get a few things done as far as the buildings and grounds. And I wanted to thank Mike, you guys, for getting in touch with Mike to hook up some of our drywall problems here. We had Joe McCarthy, our arborist, cleaning up the upper parking lot and around the grounds, and it definitely makes a huge difference. I want to thank Brother Tom. He got a hold of that fire inspector and was the point man with that. Got that done. That was huge. We didn't get our license revoked or anything. Let's see. But I mean, those are just a few things, and obviously we have a lot we need to get done around here. We need a new paint job. We need a new roof. We need the creek over by the library needs to be rechanneled, and those are all very high dollar projects that we can't pull the trigger on just quite yet. So any way you guys can think of to bring in more funds. I mean, obviously more people might bring in more funds. I was thinking this is one of the things that really attracted to me to this space here was the amazing acoustics and coming and hearing the singing during the service and coming to concerts. And we've had a concert here before and recently, and we should endeavor to do more of that. It would bring in some money, we bring in some people who see the place. And so if you guys know of any artists who would like to perform here, maybe we could set something up. And I wanted to definitely thank each and every one of you. You've all been great support to me. I look forward to hearing any of your concerns, questions for me, or anything you might need me to do. I always love hearing from you. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
There we go. Thank you, Josh. All right. So I wanted to let people know about the. Yeah, but you have to understand this is not for the audio. This is for people online. So this will not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We have not only do we have BC, the Bishops Committee members who are going to be serving yet another year. Nobody has jumped ship yet, so we're going to hang on to everybody we can. But we also have diocesan representatives, right? And so we need to make people aware of who those people are going to be. So, Ruby, do you want to say anything about that, or?
You mean for everything, all of the diocesan and deanery stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I can, I always talk.
There you go.
Okay. Is that okay? I have, before we go on, the Bishops Committee is an intrepid band of really dedicated people. Can you hear me in the back? And, they make decisions. They think and pray hard about the decisions that they made. A lot of which are not exactly perfect, but it's the best they can do. I'm not on the Bishops Committee. I just sort of am nosy. And so I am. But I would like to urge you all to consider the gifts that you might have and the ideas that you might have, to consider joining with the Bishops Committee in helping to make this a better place, so that not 5 or 6 people have to do all the work. And then if you tell people a little about the deaneries. And I'm going to tell you about the deanery now. Okay. Deaneries.
diocese. It's kind of a very murky organizational chart. We operate. The diocese is is the main. It's everything operates under the tenet of the diocese and the bishop, and in the diocese there are, I believe, 6 different deaneries according to our location, a geographical location. Down the peninsula, we are part of the Peninsula Diocese. Deanery, yes. Well, yeah, deanery. Thank you. See, I didn't write any notes. I didn't know I was going to have to talk about this. In the deanery, they have had a lot of difficulty finding people who will serve in key capacities, i.e. secretary and president, people who will get the information out to the congregations. I think that logjam is beginning to be worked through. But in the deanery, the responsibility of the deaneries are to oversee the budget, to look at the budget that the diocese proposes and approve it, or to ask questions about it, to they make grants, service grants and things like that. And the idea is for different churches to get together and pool our resources to make things easier and to make it more effective for everyone. I'm kind of a deanery representative by default. Linda and David are our official deanery and diocesan folks, reps. Thank you. Come and stand with me. They were not able to attend this last diocesan convention. So everybody sat and looked at one another, and I just said, well, if nobody else will do it, I can go. I don't have anything that day. Actually, it's kind of fun. Let me tell you what we did. It was a 2-day convention. The first day was on Zoom, and they talked about an initiative that the bishop has been pushing about becoming more the beloved community and figuring out how we can all work together. The new bishop, who's really cool. And at Rios, yes, he got a huge fit of the giggles in the middle of one of the things on Saturday while he was talking. And so he couldn't stop laughing, and so neither could we. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Give Brian take over the stage for 5
Hi,
minutes.
take it over.
Brian's got a very difficult schedule here.
Yeah, just so I sit on the finance committee. There's 3 different people that run it, so there's no conflicts of interest, and we can't steal any money. So I want to clarify that. As far as the finances go, this year we've gotten about 51,000 of expenses out and about 49,000 of expenses in. So as of September, we're sitting at a deficit of 2,000. We have about 800 in our checking account and 25,000 in our savings account, something along those lines. We're not trying to harbor a lot of money as a nonprofit, but we do want to be solvent in terms of having more money coming in than we have that we pay for expenses. And about 90% of everything we do is through pledges. So the thing that really keeps this church financially solvent is pledges from members like you. That's the most important thing you can do. Can you say we need pledges? Pledges. Pledges, yeah. Pledges are the thing that make everything work. So please continue to pledge. If you're not pledging, it'd be great if you could. But we understand everybody has their own needs. I think it's also important to note that the more members we get, the more help, assistance we get when it comes to facilities, and the more we can grow the church. That's kind of the point of what we're doing, to reach out to people in the local community. So the more we can focus on outreach, that'll solve all our other challenges that we face, including the financial challenge to remain solvent as we continue moving forward in time. So I'll leave that there. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, real quick. Deanery, thank you. And assistant convention, I'm sort of mushing them together. What we did in the convention was the primary thing that we did was to approve several resolutions. And one of them had to do with supporting our Haitian neighbors in lieu of the really horrible things that were said about them during the election. And it was a late resolution, but it was approved almost unanimously. I think there were about 7 people who voted against it. And they'll have to deal with God. I didn't say that. We will. It's primarily that we support them and that we condemn what was going on. And you can find information about the convention and everything on the Diacal website. It has a whole... Yes, that's right.
Every Sunday it's in the back of the book.
And it tells, keeps you up to date on what's going on. And, if anybody asks you if it's a horrible thing to do to be a rep, a deanery rep, to represent St. Edmunds at the diocese, at the convention, no, it's not. Yeah, I did it. You can do it.
You need to formally elect each year, renew it.
We do.
So are you considered still?
I'm still an alternate.
Okay. So I don't know if David and I need to be officially approved again, all 3 of us by.
Confirmation, yes, in this. Just to add into the deanery, Pamela Stevenson, who is the president of deanery now, had asked me to serve in the nomination committee for the diocese. But I told her that I have served in the commission and ministry and in standing committee in the past, and I think let others serve for that. So knowing my schedule with my work as well somehow impedes me to be attending more of other schedules. So, but that's where we are now. There's a scholarship that we can apply from the deanery, either for our creek for creation. I think up to $1,000 we can ask for that.
Can we have that official show of hands that we are approved again as the deanery reps?
Yes, Catherine, you had a question or comment?
Yes, was any mention made of providing sanctuary for illegal citizens?
No, you mean at the convention?
Or in the deanery?
I don't recall anything at the deanery level. How about you?
It was not discussed at the deanery meeting, but we got an email. Our current president, Pamela Stevenson, has a group discussing about that support to our immigrants. Yeah.
David?
We weren't at the last meeting, but the meeting before, the deanery meeting before, there was somebody in the southern part of the county but they were a church that was providing a lot of support for immigrant people. So things are being done in other places in the deanery. To answer your question.
Yeah.
St. Edmunds has been a sanctuary before, and about 2 minutes ago, I remembered what for. And,
El Salvador?
but I don't remember now. But we provided a sanctuary. Mercy. I'm sorry, I can't remember what for.
Yeah, she's saying that St. Edmunds has provided sanctuary before for those who needed it, particularly people who are immigrants, I think is what, or undocumented or something. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the things, and it's good to get reminded of some of that stuff, Catherine, so that we kind of put it on our schedule as part. One of the reasons to have the annual meeting is so that we're addressing concerns of the congregation. So I think that's really good. I think do we need to have a vote for to accept the representatives for the deanery? Okay, I got a motion from Tom. I think Josh got the second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, good. All right, David, you're up for finances.
Brian said a lot of things that I was going to say, but I want to remind people how finances work at St. Edmunds. The money goes in the plate or gets sent to our mailbox or at the bank, at the post office. I count the money and deposit it. Brian gets that information and puts it in the database. He has finished 9 months of the database, so he's behind October, and he's always a little bit behind because it's a lot of work. Sandy writes all the bills, and the good news on that is we paid for all that work up in the upper parking lot out of our checking account. We have not gone into designated money. So that huge $25,000 that we have in savings, part of that is designated money, and some of that is money for the Creek fundraiser we had. So there's Sandy's very happy that we have enough money to pay our bills. Again, Brian mentioned pledging. Pledging is huge for this church, and I think any church probably. But if we don't have the pledges, we can't plan, and if we don't have the pledges, we don't survive. We are very fortunate. There are a number of people in our church who are generous and give a great amount to keep us going. I can give you the amount of money that we've taken in this year as of last Sunday, and that is $56,000, $875. That includes the Koch endowment, which is about $4,500 a year. So we're projected this year. We still have today's plate and the last plate in November and 5 plates in December. I project that we're probably going to come in at about $62,000 this year. We're paying our bills, we're staying afloat, but we really need people to pledge and to think seriously and from your heart about that. In the back of the church is the letter I put out this year, which is basically last year's letter. with one addition. We're paying our bills. There's also a pledge form, and there's also the form for what you can do to help Josh and other people around the church and the other jobs that need being done. Reminder, we don't have a full-time vicar, so we have to step up and do other things. Josh has really taken on some really serious projects, and the bathroom issue has been an issue since 5 years, and it's taken care of. We had to pass the inspection, we had to get the stove inspected, and we had to get the fire extinguishers checked. So all of that is taken care of, right, Josh? Yeah, so there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and I appreciate everything from the Bishop's Committee and from the Finance Committee. I greatly appreciate all of you who generously give to St. Edmunds. Thank you so much. Yeah, and you can put them in. I'll take them and give them to. Quick other note: anybody that wants to take over my job can.
No such luck, David. And David, I think. Are you looking for something?
Just say a couple of words.
About what?
The grounds.
The grounds? Go ahead.
I'm very happy at the grounds and that we have, 2 park benches, and that's great. And it's looking a lot better. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to know. And, you know, that's something actually that relates to some of the other organizations that we've got using this place, and the fact that we've keeping these gates open. So especially starting, I think, during the pandemic, a lot of the community really appreciates using that garden area, the courtyard, sitting in the benches. It's really quite a benefit to the community. It's one of the things I think that we could promote about this place more to the city of Pacifica, and if not, you know, further along, because I think it gets people coming in here, and it puts us on their radar. You know, not just the Mothers Club, the Tai Chi group, everybody just loves that courtyard. So, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, that's on my list, along with the other thing I was thinking about, and David, I know you probably didn't want to talk about this because it's like something we're still figuring out, but setting up future endowments, I think, would be another important thing that we'll be looking at in the BC, like how does that all work? Because, you know, sometimes, you know, there might be future, so that we don't get to the point where St. Edmunds has not one stone left upon another too quickly. Right? All right. Let's see.
Don't want to get rocky with that.
There you go. Exactly. Let's see. We had Ruby already. I guess Linda, you're up next with the you're going to talk about the mission and values and.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? It's okay. I'll just talk loudly using my teacher voice. All right. So I'm listed to tell you about the outreach report, including the PPP, Pacifica Peace People, racism, anti-racism stuff, and the website, and then about our discussion about who we are as a church as we move forward on our website. So I don't have too much to report about the Pacifica Peace People working with the school quite yet on an anti-racism project, but oh, thanks. That's much better. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is for online, so you got to do both.
Okay. Okay, so that NRASM project is just slowly beginning, and we'll tell you more about that when it happens. But I want to focus on the website. The website is an issue because we can no longer technically update it. We cannot move forward technically. I've tried to get that done through the company that provides the whole thing for us, and they said it's just not going to happen. So that's why we have to redo our website. And once we redo our website, then we can really then move forward. So that's the little milestone that is just ahead of us. So that's why we gathered. Did you have a question first? That's our plan. Our plan is to put a new one up there. Well, yes, you'll keep the old one until we've got the new one, and then remove the old one. There's a change in. You're talking about the mics? Yeah. Okay. So that's a process that needs to, well, somebody's a lot more skilled than me needs to be able to make that process change. I will tell you that we did change, although it's not done officially yet. We did change the name of our website because people said they did not like the St. Edmunds the hyphen, yes. So I found that we could get a new domain name, and it will be, not yet, but it will be St. Edmunds. Saint is spelled out S-A-I-N-T, St. Edmunds Pacifica.org. No hyphens or anything. But Pacifica was important because there are a number of other St. Edmunds, as you might know if you just tried to type it in. So that has been approved by the BC. So what are we going to put on it? So that's why we had that little gathering recently where I said, well, what are we here? Who are we? What do we think? What is our mission statement? What are our beliefs and values? So we had that nice little hour-long meeting, and Dan took a lot of good notes, and he sent them to me. I looked them over looking for things that people said that they had in common, things that were important to them. And so I wrote up a simple little, it's this colored sheet. I wrote up this little mission statement and values and beliefs, and if you didn't pick it up in the back, you need to do that. This is a beginning. I wanted to make it fairly short. I looked at a lot of other websites, and Deborah and I especially like one website, so I kind of looked at how they did theirs. So this is a beginning, and I want you to look it over. I want you to give me feedback. That's why I want you each to have this piece of paper so you can take it with you. You can make suggestions, edits, cross things out, and then we will all agree about this is who we are and this is what we want our website to say. I can just read it just quickly because we're mopping up stuff there. Our mission at St. Edmunds, we encourage curiosity and questions as we welcome people from different backgrounds who long to know and share the unconditional love and healing of Jesus. Our place of worship is set in a beautiful coastal surfing community surrounded by nature. We want people to feel comfortable just being themselves while on their spiritual journey. Then the list of values and beliefs. We believe Christianity is a communal faith. Sharing the presence and support of others deepens our spiritual experience. We believe we must be willing to change, grow, and be spontaneous. We love music, both traditional and contemporary, which energizes us and brings us joy. We feel it is important to work for peace, justice, diversity, and equity, and we strive to serve others in need in our community. So I want you to take this with you and mark it up like you're the teacher with your red pen or whatever, and then get back to me and the people on the BC. I can send this out to you so you have it online to actually make some changes, just typing them in. Any questions now?
Just to state, and Linda, that what you just saw in front of you was an example of what kind of you're talking about. You know, the group effort that we had a little spill here, you might have noticed.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
So that was an example of sort of the great things that happen at St. Edmunds. Yeah, we sometimes have our problems, but we work together and make sure it gets taken care of.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. It will not be a different company. So there's two things involved. There's the company that provides the platform and the domain name. And then so that's like the bones of the house. And then there's the company which we use to actually put the words and photos on. So the company that provides, GoDaddy, provides the domain, and I told them our problem, and they looked it over, and they said, you know, you can't fix this. You're going to have to do a new website. They offered to do it for a cost of like $3,000. I didn't take them up on that.
Okay. And I keep thinking of more people that have to be acknowledged. One of them, of course, is Heidi, and I guess Hilaria? Is that the right name? Joyce. Yeah. Thank you, Joyce. But
I also forgot to mention Deborah. Deborah has been with me. Thanks.
there you go. Okay. There's always more people to thank, and just for me, it's important to remember not only because I want people to get their due, but also for me, it helps when I acknowledge somebody. That expression of gratitude is also something that's very helpful in terms of just not just your soul, but your mental health. Anyway, it's kind of one of my things. Doug or Ruby, when do you want to do a liturgy report? I guess maybe that'd be Ruby, huh?
Well, first of all, thank everyone who gave me a list of their favorite hymns. What? Oh, this one. Oh, this one. Okay. Thank you to everyone who gave me some of your favorite hymns. You may have noticed that occasionally we get to sing them. Reverend Leonard and I why? Then you come and do this. Our liturgy, we don't have a formal committee, but, it sort of takes its form from the Book of Common Prayer, and then we add our own twist. We're delighted to have lectors and acolytes and members of the Altar Guild who are just wonderful troopers, and we could use more. We could use a tall person who can, I'm sorry, who can climb and is not afraid of climbing ladders and taking things down and putting things up. But I think we do. We'll do it at Advent, when Advent comes, yeah. But if I ask you for some of your favorite hymns, please tell me. Otherwise, you'll get the same old things that I love. And right, right. And for the people who are readers, that's wonderful. If you would like to do that, please let Douglas or Josh know. Okay, stand up straight and do it.
I'm going to get to the.
Here, here, you have to be here.
Oh, hell. I'm going to get to the specifics of how things go. Particularly for those of you who would like things in the bulletin. I'm under a time constraint every week when I put the bulletin together. Here's the process. The bulletin is run by the Diocese of California. Every Episcopal church in our diocese is doing the same thing every Sunday morning. All the lessons you heard us read are being read in every other church, which is why I'm saying that the Diocese of California runs the bulletin. All the lessons, what? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He knew every single song.
Of course.
He knew it all.
Yeah. He's the Episcopalian. That's what I'm saying. He's the Episcopalian. No, nothing special. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that that was special. That was different, yeah. But anyway, the point I'm making is that I start out the bulletin by following the guidelines, and I set up the bulletin based on the lectionary. Now, from there, we fill in. Ruby reads the lectionary, reads the lessons, and chooses her music from the words in the lectionary, which is why some of you are so surprised that the music fits what it says. Well, Ruby has done her homework. She's done her homework.
And I gotta say, I think a lot of us really appreciate the stuff that you did around the election. It was really nicely done.
Yeah. So anyway, and then, of course, the only thing that the rest of you, the only part that you have to play in it, see, I've gotten Leonard in shape. He was a little slow for a while. But I got him up to speed because he has now recognized that if he wants something in the bulletin, he better get it to me by Wednesday. You see? Okay, so now, if any of you understand or if any of you have comments or have any kind of things that you would like to have in the bulletin, my deadline is Wednesday morning. I print the bulletin Thursday morning. I start working on the bulletin Monday morning. As a matter of fact, I quite often start working on the bulletin this afternoon after church. I start that soon to get the next bulletin together. So this is what I'm letting you know. So anyway, what you have in your hand every Sunday morning is a work of many people's hands, not just me. I'm just the one that sticks it in the machine, pushes the button, and let the machine do the work. But I'm not the only one that's responsible for this bulletin. It started with the diocese. And then it's come down, or what? Oh, with the Anglican Church. Then it's more than the diocese, that's right, because this is all over the United States. Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to put that little plug in. Here.
Thank you, Douglas. Now I'm telling you now before Wednesday, we're using trap line.
We do? Okay, thank you. That's good to know.
Do you want to say anything about Curcio?
Oh, I can. Okay, Dan has asked me to say something about Curcio. Douglas, stand up. You may or may not know that, well, oh, that's right. You probably do know because I talked about it a lot when it was happening. I talked about it a lot when it was happening, but I was the the rectora or leader of the last women's Cursillo. We had a long hiatus because of COVID. And so my team formation, rather than being 9 months, took like 4 years. And I want to introduce some of the people who are Cursillistas here in our parish. We've got Catherine, Carol, Heidi, Leonard, Mar, Douglas, and Janet. Also, Kirkpatrick, Sandy Kirkpatrick. The purpose of the Cursillo, it's a 4-day weekend, and a 3-day weekend. And the purpose of it is to form Christian community, to act as a short course in Christianity, and we find ways of expressing our faith, expressing our action, doing action, piety, and to study. It's piety, study, and action. And St. Edmunds as a whole does that. But if anybody is interested in doing something like that, see any one of us. There's a new ladies' Cursillo coming up in November, just about a year from now. And so I'd be happy to talk to any of you about it. And so would Heidi and Leonard and Catherine and Janet and Douglas. That's it.
Rudy. Rudy, did you want to come up and say something about the online people? And I'll give you just a moment. Yeah, I know. Believe me, he knows.
All right, so just a quick update on the church live stream. It's been working quite well. Sometimes we get in excess of over 50 views on the video after the fact. And I've noticed that sometimes when Alexi isn't able to come in person, he watches online. And when some people are away or like not feeling well, they watch online. So, and some people who have trouble hearing in church do watch online. So I just think it's done a great help in like letting other people be aware of our church service to the community, but also helping people who can't come in person. So thank you.
And somebody has glasses here. I don't know who that is. Okay, I'll get them to you in a minute. Okay, Janet, can you come up and tell people about the calendar?
Thank you.
So, got 2 microphones.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Janet Pond, and I do a variety of things here at St. Edmunds. But one of the things I do kind of behind the scenes is publish our monthly calendar, which is posted on the front of the door. Now, we have kind of a little structural issue that currently our website is not supporting an online calendar. So what we've done in the meantime is through the bulletin, put through upcoming events for the month, which Douglas has been able to gather. One of the other things, if you need to schedule the church or the grounds for any reason, reach out to me. I'll get you to the right people. We're in the process of deciding who's going to start managing that going forward. But in the meantime, you can reach out to me. And my email is jpacific99@gmail.com. Are there any questions about the calendar or calendar process? Okay. Yeah. Do that. That would be great. Correct. We can close the loop. That'd be great. Yes.
So if we're going to use the same platform,
put on. But because we are not technically being able to rise in, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
It's like the term is a plug-in on the website. And I can't put that plug-in in because we are not allowed technically going on.
Until you get the new one.
So, when we get the new one, then I'm gonna put the WordPress calendar on it, and it's gonna be so much easier.
Yeah.
Yes?
Gotcha.
Oh, he's just trying to mic you.
Oh, sorry.
I should have
Also, I was
handed.
gonna suggest this, earlier, when you were talking, that on the back of this, I think every BC member should have his or her email,
I can do
maybe
that.
even phone number, I don't know how others feel about that, but at least the email by every, and I've seen this in other
I can do
churches.
that. That's easy.
So, and then you could put, if you wanted to,
We'll be there next week.
calendar.
Email's good.
Okay,
Email's
Be there next week.
all right.
I'd like to respond to, I don't want to cut into this, but
That's fine.
with the emails there, if you ever have any questions about finances, you could email me and I'll respond to them. I just wanted to say that it's a joyous day at St. Edmunds because you're here, but also the plate was one of the biggest we've had in quite a while. We're over $3,000, which means that $56,000 I gave you earlier is closer to $60,000. I have to get somebody to check my math. It's a good day for St. Edmunds.
Such generosity. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for doing the phone list too. Oh, the directory, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's actually really helpful too. The only other thing that I wanted to be sure and mention was that there are a number. This and seeing Janet up there reminded me of one of her phrases that she came up with. Is we were talking about how we've managed to get some people coming from the Catholic Church over here on occasion. And Janet said, well, they left the pen open, meaning that some of the people prefer to come to St. Edmunds as opposed to the local Catholic Church sometimes. So, and the reason that that's important is because we're going to continue to work with some of these groups like Faith in Action, who's really been helpful to us, when we want to do anything, whether it's related to supporting undocumented or anything else, that group has been very helpful. So it's great that, and was it Ellen Haig, yeah, and you'll see her here on occasion. The other thing is to let people know there's a lot of other groups in the community that I'll be reaching out to, not necessarily for St. Edmunds, but just on my own, related to upcoming changes that we hope to have to maybe improve our political situation. I'll put it that way. And one of those groups is Indivisible, which some of you might have heard of, and they're still active. And all those groups are coming around, so there'll be more information about that going forward. I just want to give people a heads up about that. I think, do we have any other questions? Otherwise, we can go to the closing prayer, but... There you go, wise man.
Before I do that, let me just add to what Dan had mentioned about the faith community. Pastor Jonathan Markham, who is the pastor of the New Life Christian Fellowship here on Odstad, Terranova, has started reaching out to me and the rest of the ministers in Pacifica for a prayer group, mainly just to come together and pray together in support. It's a prayer room in somewhere near the post office or the city hall at Pacifica that I missed last Saturday because I had to perform in Half Moon Bay. But we will continue to have that gathering.
So let me just let people know about that, because I
Did you attend?
I did get to that meeting, so
Here.
let me just, so that is a group of pastors and lay people from Pacifica churches that are interested in starting a prayer room. And they had some research that they had researched it out, I guess, and there was at least one prayer room that they mentioned that had been going on for like 100 years. And the idea being that having a place to pray can be helpful and a means towards making change. Yes, you have a question?
More than Christian or just Christian?
I think it was just Christian, I think, is the impression that I got. Certainly that's all the people that showed up there. But I, of course, mentioned that we have a Zendo and that we used to have the Coastside Jewish community, and we've done interfaith kinds of things. So I don't know if that particular group would be interested in that, but yeah.
I think I did ask that from Pastor Mark, and said that they have tried it before, but the other interfaith had wanted to do their own. So this is just particularly for Christian.
Yeah, and that actually does remind me, I actually went to a meeting of the San Francisco Interfaith Council recently, and I actually met, I can't remember her first name, I think it's Rossi. She's at the Grace Cathedral. They're Episcopal, one of the Canon Rossi, I can't remember her first name right now. But she is part of the interfaith, she's the director of interfaith engagement at Grace Cathedral. And the San Francisco Interfaith Council has been very active for a number of different issues in the San Francisco Bay Area over the years. So I wanted to go because I knew the main speaker there is somebody who ran the Swords to Plowshares organization, which serves veterans and has been doing that for like 50 years or so. But there is going to be a lot going on with interfaith stuff coming up in the next year. So just stay tuned and I'll give you more info when I have it.
Okay. Yeah, that was Anna Rossi. Let us bow down in prayer. Beautiful people, many cultures, everyday heroes, united in the spirit of service to lift the lives of the needy and those who are searching for hope and inspiration. We are all interrelated as one people, beloved community, interwoven like a beautiful tapestry, intertwined, interconnected to become a beautiful creation with a beautiful pattern as an outward and visible expression of love, harmony, and service. Let each pattern grow in beauty and grace, enriching all others as we widen our tent to include all. Let harmony prevail, peace unite us, and love be our guide to make a difference in this world, our island home. And may the light of Christ lead us always. Amen.
Thank you all. Appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you all.
There's always